have been fucking amazing for the last 10 years.
Let me start off with a Twitch feed this morning, and I got to get the whole name right. Mile High Hockey Lab.
The city of Denver, the state of Colorado, you guys have been fucking amazing for the last 10 years.
From Spectrum Community Services Studios in Colorado, USA, this is the Mile High Hockey Lab.
Well, hello. You guys can't hear me, can you?
I can.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, here we go. Well, hello and welcome to the Mile High Hockey Lab. My name is Adrian Hernandez. Thank you so much for joining the program today as we are here to talk about the Colorado Avalanche on this 141st episode of the Mile High Hockey Lab. I want to quickly thank my esteemed colleagues and friends, Jackie K, Brendan Vogt, Evan Liu, and Ezra Parter for joining the program. Please head on over to the website, milehighhockey.com, where you can find the written work of all of the people on the first two squares, Adrian and Jackie at milehighhockey.com, and then Brendan and Evan over at Hockey Mountain High, with Ezra getting his hockey work in right here on the Mile High Hockey Lab. So we got lots to talk about today. The Avs playing in a back-to-back scenario, finishing that up with the second of a back-to-back tonight in Calgary. Short-handed a bit without the work of Cale Makar, Nazem Kadri, or Josh Manson. But Martin Necas is on the hunt for 100 points this regular season, and he's 2 goals shy of 40 goals, which is something to key on as well. We can talk a little bit about something happening out in Evan's current neck of the woods, which is the Sabres are playoff bound, and today their ex-admin decided to pull no punches, brought out all the receipts, a fun topic that I want to check in on. And then last but not least, we will talk about the potential matchups in the playoffs with the Kings or Ducks, surprisingly, making their way into the equation as potential first-round matchups for the Avalanche. Okay, so with so much to talk about, let's just get right into it. Jackie, I want to start with you. First of all, happy to have you back on the program, Jackie. Welcome back. Let's talk about first this back-to-back. Let's start with last night's shootout victory. Kind of odd to see the Avalanche scoring all 3 goals in the shootout.
Yeah, I think the goalies were tired. They made so many good saves, and particularly in the third period and overtime, especially with the power plays. I think they just got tired.
I guess you could say that. I don't know. I'd have to go back and go look at the last time that the Avs went 3 for 3, in a shootout. I don't know when the last time that happened. I don't know if it's ever happened, because that's just not what they do. But
I'm glad that Nichushkin mixed it up. I was like, I hope he's not going to try the exact same thing again, and then he just shot it. But then Nate just sort of did the same thing.
I was going to say, yeah.
I think they showed the graphic before the shootout started. Wedge was not the greatest in the shootout, and I did not look up Ingram's numbers. I'm going to guess he's probably not the greatest either. So that
enough to give up 3 in a row and then get frustrated as all heck to, smash his stick.
Yeah.
Well, it's understandable. They need the point badly.
Yes.
Still a complete toss-up in that division.
I know.
But like I said, there used to be an easy way to look up shootout stats, and not anymore. So I'm going to assume that Ingram, not the greatest in the shootout.
I believe, though, that result does eliminate Edmonton possibly being a matchup with the Avalanche, if I'm not mistaken. I think that eliminates them. It eliminated one of Edmonton or Vegas. I don't remember which.
Vegas,
team,
I would say definitely not, because they also won. So, I think they're several points ahead now. Probably.
Oh, in terms of the first round, you mean like potential first round matchups?
I don't know that
understand
it
now.
eliminated it entirely, but unlikely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the things that I've kind of been. I don't know that I like that we've keyed on early before the playoffs even were close to starting, which is that like no matter who comes out of the Pacific, if you are facing a Pacific team in the Western Conference Final, it means they've won 2 playoff rounds, and any doubts you have about them and their division will be all but subdued at that point because they'll be playing one series to go back to the Stanley Cup Final if it's Edmonton for the 3rd straight time. So
I think it'll be Vegas. I think we should, maybe talk about this more on our Friday show, all the the matchup and predictions and things like that. But I think Vegas is starting to play better, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's them.
6-0-1 with Torts.
I mean, we'll also know by Friday what the matchups will look like.
We should, hopefully.
Yes.
I think the season ends up on Thursday, so
there's not a lot of games on Friday. Unfortunately, the Avs have to play. They really should be done.
This is such a weird.
It's
it just makes no sense.
Play on Friday.
It's very weird too that like all 16 teams are set already. Like there's nothing that's coming down to game 82. It's very intriguing, and like some of those are very surprising. Like where the hell did the Philadelphia Flyers come from? You know,
Money Puck had them at a 3% chance of making the playoffs.
Columbus collapsed.
March 18th.
I think is what happened.
Columbus collapsed. Yeah. Well, and that's kind of like that'll lead us, I guess, a good segue into the potential first round matchup talk between Ducks and Kings, because those are 2 teams that are very much doing 2 opposite things right now, with the Kings just not being able to lose and the Ducks kind of squandering their chances at actually winning that division. With that being said, like what poses a bigger threat? Because to me, it's kind of like you can't take what you're getting in this last window of the season too seriously. Am I wrong about that, Brendan?
No, you can't really. But it's gonna all come down to seeding these last couple days. So that it depends on who wins, who loses, and everything like that. So we still don't know if we're gonna get the Kings. We still don't know if we're gonna get the Ducks. We still don't know if we're gonna get the Preds. I mean, there's a higher chance that we're gonna get the Kings. The Preds are out now.
I think it's just the 2 Ducks. The only thing that could happen is the Kings could overtake the Ducks, which would put the Ducks as wild card 2.
I think Utah
they would do it in an overtime win. I bet you.
That's a bold prediction right there.
Yeah, well, the four
not really
right
considering
now.
They only have a bold prediction would be that they win in regulation because they only have 21 regulation wins this year.
This is true. Yeah, I think the 4 matchups that they can have now are LA, Anaheim, Utah, and I think one of Vegas or Edmonton.
Then it wouldn't be Edmonton. Vegas is definitely over Edmonton now. So what I like is that it's different. Like they should be able to beat anybody in the first round. At this point I still would prefer not Utah or, Edmonton, but I mean, if it's between LA or Anaheim, it doesn't really matter. They probably should beat either one. I just like that it's fresh. I'm glad that we're not doing Nashville again, just because, like I've said before, I don't think familiarity helps the better team. Familiarity helps the weaker team. And just for my entertainment purposes, it's kind of interesting to play in a playoff series against somebody new, somebody that we haven't, in this era. And so, either the Kings or the Ducks would be interesting. The Avs have played a lot of Pacific teams over the last, 10 or so years with Vegas and San Jose. And
and you usually end up hating them by the end of the series.
and then this one. And so they've had some fresh matchups.
I mean, the Avalanche swept the Oilers in the Western Conference Final, and I still left not liking the Oilers. It's like the most ideal outcome I could have had. I mean, but I could have been satisfied. They swept them with Frankie, no less. But yeah, I'm with you. I like the interesting. That's kind of why I
careful what you wish for is what they say. But I'd like to see a series against the Ducks, just because one, I think it's cool that the Ducks are back in the playoff position that they're in. I think they're a team with some young talent. It'd be nice to watch them lose to the Avalanche and then maybe go on to win something of merit later on in the future this year. But I'm with you. Like, I like the mix up. There's 4 different teams in the playoffs on the eastern side of the bracket compared to last year, and 2 on the western side of the bracket. So 6 new, fresh teams in the playoffs. That's always a good thing, I think, for the league itself. So that's exciting. But yeah, as far as the first round matchup goes, the Avalanche shouldn't really be concerned with the matchup because they basically have no excuses to not win the first round matchup, no matter who it is. We all agree with that, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Even if it was Dallas.
Should.
Yeah.
Should. Yeah, because, I recall that Tampa was supposed to roll over Columbus one year and got kind of get their butts kicked.
Yes, they did. Well, and not to go too far off of what the topic, but Ezra, seeing your friendly face, watching DU defeat the Badgers in the national title game, I have to get your take on that because to me it did have, honestly, very legitimate parallels to what I consider the theme of like hockey right now, which is a team basically dominating the entire game, but not cashing in on their opportunities the same way as a team who is limited to very few chances is able to and inevitably win the game, which was the Pioneers in this situation. I even said, this is not a lie. You guys are going to call me a liar, but I was at a venue for a music festival I was in when we were watching this hockey game. And I said, this happens between Colorado and Dallas all the time. Denver's going to score on their 8th shot on goal. And once they get to that point, it's over. Now, it was a flurry of chances, so I don't know if it was exactly their 8th shot, but they were on 7 right before the flurry of chances started. And it was just because we'd seen this all play out before. Comment real quickly on that Badgers DU game, and then, tell me why I'm mean.
No. I mean, it's fair. I was watching it with a friend who was pulling for DU just because he's a Sharks fan and he wants Eric Polkamp to succeed. And the whole time he was like, "You guys are crushing us. You guys are crushing us. We're oh my god." Because y'all had 5 shots through 2 periods or whatever. It was insane. It was insane. But that's what happens. You don't score goals when you have opportunities. And I don't ever want to be a guy who blames the refs, but the penalties in the 3rd period were crazy.
Yeah, it was
crazy. They were crazy. But you know what? You don't put yourself in a position for that to matter if you score a little bit earlier. So what are you going to do? I'm proud of the Badgers. They shouldn't have been there, and they were. That's incredible.
Well, I mean, you could say the same thing about DU, who rattled off like 13 straight wins with a goalie they had no idea was just going to come in and start shutting teams out.
Yeah,
15. Yeah,
15. Get it right. On a freshman
15,
goalie.
Yeah, he had 0 starts and then came in against St. John's and shut him out 6-0, and then went and shut out the next team the next night. And who, like, that is the kind of story that propels a team, which is funny. Ezra, you said like the Badgers were all over him. You guys were appropriately named for the start of that hockey game because that's how it looked, was just a bunch of Badgers out there. But yeah, so that was a fun thing that we got to witness over the weekend. So congratulations to the Piles. That's Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, their 11th national title.
Yeah, it's their 11th, and I sure as heck let my friend from Wisconsin who went to the school know that.
Well, and that's now 2 more than Michigan, who's the next closest, right, at 9 national titles.
Yeah, and my friend from Wisconsin, he was just chirping me the whole game, and all I just said was 10. Just kept responding with 10. Gonna be 11, bro. That's all that's all I had to say.
And that's why I don't chirp, because you never know.
Yeah.
Well, I knew enough about DU, and I've been watching them, enough all year that they're gonna pull it back and pull the game out. And and knowing that Johnny Hicks is in that, oh God, that kid's amazing. But
well,
that's
what I wanted
Hicks.
to.
Shout out
Johnny. They were calling him Johnny Bricks by the end of the tournament.
Right.
I saw. Yeah.
The second coming of Matt Davis.
That's right. Well, I believe he tied the AAV and save percentage record for a freshman. He beat it. He beat it because he had to qualify by playing a certain amount of games, right? So he didn't couldn't be considered for a while there.
Oh, and what makes me angry is now Boston Buckburger is it's a Columbus Blue Jacket.
Yeah. And we have to talk about the Avs rookie or undrafted free agent signing from Michigan as well. We haven't touched on that. Maybe it's time to do that. Jackie, what do you think?
Well, you know how I feel about the NCAA free agents.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
It's easy to forget the failures. I mean, sure, it's a free prospect, cool. I mean, I still think they should sign Christian Humphreys. He's tearing it up in the OHL playoffs. So, I mean, it's not like they don't have other options that they could do. But, you know, it's fine.
Typical
it's
though,
free
right?
We'll see.
You got to do it. They're in no other position to add to the cupboard, right? In any other way, pretty much.
Like I said, they do have other options. Yeah. I want to act like they don't, but they do.
I guess I just mean other avenues, not necessarily other options.
It's a matter
all these options are.
I mean, sure, they don't have first-round picks, but I mean, everyone acts like, well, this is the only thing they can do. Like, that's not true. Like I said, sign Christian Humphreys, but
it's a matter of contracts. That's the problem they've got. Right? They don't have draft picks, and they may not have room for contracts if they want to fill the cupboard as in terms of like the NHL bench.
I'd have to see what they're at next year. I don't know yet, but and then when you sign a high-profile college free agent, somebody that has a lot of options, you know what happens. You have to give promises to get them to sign. And so I figure he's going to be the next year Brindley Bardakov, because he's probably going to get treated a lot like Ben Myers. Like, he's probably
get him in there.
His agent was going to say, look what you did for Ben Myers. That's what we expect. So
expect more than that.
That's what I expect.
Active rosters for next year are 17 out of 23 for next year.
Well, I mean, that's on the roster. Like, contracts is out of 50.
Yeah.
It does look like Nas participated in. I'm looking at some news from Sportsnet just now that just dropped about an hour ago. I didn't think Nas traveled with the team. Are they interviewing him in Calgary right now?
I don't know. There's no Avs media in Calgary, so I mean,
I'd have to think he's in Colorado.
I do no, because I know he's in on the trip, because that Parker Kelly video of him reading out the lineup, which was, side note by the way, phenomenal. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was great.
He's standing in the background, like in a back doorway. I noticed.
Also, maybe the Avs will get Kadri
who the
tonight.
Actual sources, like who's there. So it's possible.
So I'm looking at Sportsnet. It's a live video, like shared by Sportsnet, and it's him talking about returning. He's in full gear. It looks like he participated in some sort of skate. I wouldn't think they would have done a skate today though with the back-to-back.
Well, they wouldn't. But
yeah, I'm confused.
But the team wouldn't. But injured, they probably make ice available for the team if they would like anybody to. So I don't know. I'd have to see the video. I do see like at Flames TV. So possibly that the players not playing were given some ice time.
Here, I'm going to share my screen real quick so we can.
While you're doing that, real quick,
I
want to go back and touch just on TJ Hughes real quick. Standout player, Hobey Baker finalist. Those are pretty good things to have on a resume. He has also played. There is a Colorado connection. He has played with Taylor McCarr before. And remind me, Brennan, that was like juniors or something.
It's Brooks.
AJHL.
So
it was Brooks Bandits. We remember that's where Kale played.
played. So there is a Colorado connection there with TJ Hughes. So that's pretty neat. As for the injured players and who could who could be playing tonight. I guess Nas could be that. I also imagine. I mean, this is his first time back in Calgary since being traded, so that's that's also
that's what it looks like they're
reason
talking
why
about
he's
here.
there.
I'm gonna unmute it so we can hear what he's saying here.
Yeah, it's I mean, definitely nostalgic for sure, but it feels like it was just yesterday I was playing here because it kind of was. So it's always nice to be back at the Dome and be in the city of Calgary, and obviously a place I'm very fond of.
Well, there you have it. So he is back. At least we know he's back in the building. That not to say we know whether or not he will in fact play tonight. But I didn't even know that he traveled with the team, given that they had mentioned his, the finger injury he was dealing with. Good sign for Avalanche fans to see Nazem Kadri back in gear. There's kind of mystery shrouded around hand injuries in particular, and I don't have to tell Avalanche fans about injuries involving cuts being particularly odd. So we can hopefully sleep better at night knowing that Kadri's on his way back. We also saw Cale Makar skating in the morning skate ahead of yesterday's game. Also a Calgary kid, so it's possible there as well. But this leads me to my next question, which isn't really in the buildup, but I'm curious about how everyone feels. It's kind of been something we've talked about a little bit, but we're seeing teams like Minnesota go a little anti-culture and very intentionally sit healthy guys and not play them with nothing to play for. As I talk about the Avalanche potentially returning guys like Cale Makar and Nazem Kadri to the lineup, we don't know if they're going to do that tonight, but they've said plain out they plan on bringing Cale back before the playoffs.
They say a lot of things.
Are we concerned at all with that thinking, with seeing how many guys have gone down, or are all these guys sitting basically already that we just aren't being told it's that, like with Josh Manson and Kadri and Makar? Is it already load management?
Yeah, I think they are. I mean, I wouldn't call what the Wild are doing as anti-culture or whatever, because there's like 3 games left. If they were doing that in like January because they're on a back-to-back, then you'd say, okay, this is anti-hockey culture. Like, this is what teams do with a week left and nothing to play for. What I find interesting is how much did the top players play last night? And in a completely meaningless game, in a back-to-back, well, I mean, we'll see, but Taves played 30 minutes last night. Like, that is just so needless. Game. Okay, still, but 30 minutes in a game that gives you nothing on a back-to-back. No, I'm going to assume he's playing tonight. Now, that's the part that I question. I don't question that. Do the Avs need to actually rest like 5 players? I even not sure they can, because they'd have to have enough cap to call all the guys up, and then you also can only get so many non-injury call-ups. I mean, I guess they can just make it up and say, we're calling this guy up for Manson or whatever. But I don't think, based on the cap, they could even call like 6 guys up. They just don't do that. They don't want that many call-ups anyway. So that's my question. I'd like to see everybody that played like crazy last night not even play tonight, which I think was like Landy played 24 minutes. Do we really need to do that? Like, is that something that's smart? Do we really need to play Landy 24 minutes in a game that means absolutely nothing? So that's what I think should be the bigger story, not like, well, who's actually sitting out? Because, they sat out Lehkonen. They'll probably sit out somebody else. But that's all I expect, like one player. They don't even have enough defensemen to sit out Tate. So
on the AHL transaction page, there's been no transactions since Jack Ashawn, other than Hank Kemp.
Well, they're not going to pay to fly somebody to Calgary.
Exactly. Hank Kemp came from Utah, and then TJ Hughes, was added to the roster. So there's been nothing done.
If I'm not mistaken,
TJ technically he can play, right? He just can't play in the playoffs. TJ, technically speaking.
Yeah, but he was added to the Eagles roster.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's on a PTO
next year.
Because his contract doesn't even start this year. It starts next year.
Okay. I didn't, because you know how Ben was. Ben played his
exactly.
first year.
Yeah,
that's true. But because of his age, I think he got a 2-year ELC, and so then they burned the first year by him playing. and then Hughes is already 24, so I think so he can only have a 1-year ELC. So then if he played this year like that, like they gave him a couple games at the end, which obviously he could have easily done, but then he'd be done with the ELC, and then he'd already have be an RFA
Ryan,
this summer.
Our good friend to the program and fellow hockey writer colleague Ryan O'Hara says Kroenke would ask them to drive themselves. LMAO.
That's a hike.
Well,
I mean, I'm with Jackie here, where you wish that you could rest more guys. They got Lehkonen, so I mean that's good. I imagine he'd slot back in tonight for
maybe somebody else, maybe Nichushkin,
Yeah. Landy,
out, something like that.
Something like that.
Landy, I mean, give the man a break.
Yeah, because you even put it in our preview today, Evan, that you were thinking that Lecky was going to come in for someone.
I'd imagine so. I feel like that's just something like you gotta find rest.
They're taking turns on the rest seat
because you can't call everyone up. And if I'm not mistaken, too, Brian, I think the Eagles are still like injured to hell and back. Right.
To a point. I mean, Steinberg's done for the year. Prishpatov's done for the year. So you got to knock those two out.
They have a million extra players.
They don't have a ton of options to bring people up, which stinks.
and Gagne is week to week, and they're down to 2 goalies instead of 3.
It must be Gagne, right?
Gagne or Gagne? No,
it's Gagne.
No, it's Gagne.
Wow,
I've double checked, and I've with Kevin McGlue, the radio broadcaster, and I've double checked with Alex. That is coming from Alex Gagne's mouth himself, and he has said, "Yeah, it's Gagne." Like,
yeah, but
okay.
We're also in the year of our Lord Gabriel Landeskog, so
yeah,
I don't know how much we can trust hockey players telling us how to pronounce their names, but. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, Brandon, in particular, was Jack Ashon's play in this stead of Josh Manson. He didn't look too bad. Had to play 11 minutes because it's all defense by committee right now.
What was the wonder pair on the ice when that goal was given up yesterday to McDavid, who wasn't covered?
Yeah.
Anyone, nobody would have stopped McDavid.
Yeah,
but I mean, they could have been near him. They could have.
Sure.
They could have given him
but
a little bit of
he didn't give up 6 because I mean it
he only
doesn't
played
work.
8 minutes.
Always
McDavid. The other
always
10
McDavid.
minutes.
Yeah.
McDavid
It was good
hates
to see
the Avs.
It's honestly though there is something I do want to talk about with this whole defense thing because I've been critical. I was critical of Blankenberg early on. I see Blankenberg getting a little bit of footing, starting to appear a little more comfortable, making me feel better. Also, in the absence of Cale Makar, we're starting to see Devon Taves have to be the guy on the back end that drives play offensively, and he's actually doing it. Exactly. Cale's
it is probably good that he. Well, I mean, he's playing with Malinsky. I mean, shouldn't
Sam?
He be, isn't he mini Cale at this point? So, but
Sam has 5 goals in 11 games. He had 5 goals in all of last season.
Well, I think he went 4 months without scoring a goal this year.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll take the last 11 games over those.
He's risen to the occasion for sure.
Yeah, all of them have. So I think, if anything, we've been shown okay, these guys are capable. Once you slot Cale back in, then I am a little more comfortable in the depth. Should I hear my own words earlier when I said take nothing from the last 10 games of the season? Or is this something that I'm on?
No, this defense is still tragic without Cale.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the we talked about Taves playing 31 minutes, and really the reason that happened is because he's getting all of the special teams minutes. He got 7 on the power play and 4 shorthanded. The only other person with more than 30 seconds shorthanded was Brent Burns at 4:28. So those two guys are playing the entire time they're short because Manson's out and Makar's out, and your call up is Jack Ashon, who you don't trust on the kill. You don't trust Blankenberg on the kill, and Kulak was in the box. So one defenseman in the box means Taves and Burns are playing the entire shorthanded. The real solution is give Malinsky the power play time, then that'll cut down Taves minutes, but apparently that's not an option. I do think
one shorthanded goal against Malinsky scared him away, but the 12 against Makar we're cool with.
But to your overall
the funny
question,
thing
I mean,
is
I do
Sean
think
is one of the
Blankenberg
best
is taking
PK
steps.
players on the Eagles.
Sorry, you guys were talking at the same time.
What'd you say?
What was that?
Sean is one of the best PKers on the Eagles.
Yeah.
Him and Middleton and Magna.
Well, there you go.
Three best.
But the Eagles,
and I wouldn't want either of them on the
Yeah, I
they're
wouldn't want them
Eagles
killing
players.
penalties against Connor McDavid.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
I do want to point. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Ezra, finish your thing.
No. Go ahead.
I do want to discuss something though that has me a little bit nervous. We have not heard much of anything about Josh Manson and his status. That's a little concerning.
Why would you? How could you? Nobody from the Avs media traveled. Like, who was asking the questions?
Riker.
Who's reporting?
Okay, I'm not worried about the reporting part right now. That's a whole
how would
other
you
thing.
know? Like, there has to be a vehicle for it. Who's telling you?
The team will announce something, or they should really. I guess is what we're.
They don't though.
But again, that's a whole other topic. I'm nervous about how Manson. We haven't heard anything. We don't know what's going on aside from what Brennan said. It's just upper body, right? And I know people have gone back and gone and looked when he left. I think it was the Vegas game. The game.
Correct. I believe you're referring to Evan Rawal. He had like a whole thing where he went back and watched like every of like the last 4 of his last shifts and was like, I saw nothing. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
and Ryan saying Corey may have traveled.
Say again?
Yeah, Corey travels with the team every time.
He did not go to.
Yeah, I don't think anyone, like any of the press, traveled.
Yeah, nobody did.
They're all waiting to go to California for playoffs, which I understand.
Yeah,
but
they might not have
that's a whole other thing.
But yeah,
I would say if there's concern, it's just in general. Like, they're downplaying all of these injuries. We assume all of them, like Manson was just, little bumps and bruises. Nuke was out the other day. We're all taking that at face value that we're just resting and it's no big deal. Same thing with Kale, same thing with Kadri. No big deal. We don't need him to play. I think the concern should be like encompassing everything, that they're probably downplaying somebody. Now, is it Manson? Is it somebody else? We'll find out the truth soon.
I'm with Evan though. I'm with Evan here though, because Evan, I think what you're pointing to is like Josh Manson, the reporting on his injury is different than what we've heard from Kadri. We've heard him. Well, let me finish.
No, and there's no traveling media. Like, who is going to tell you anything?
But the thing too
let me elaborate real quick. Just let me elaborate on this, because we found out specifically what was wrong with Nazem Kadri. Correct? Yes or no?
Because Bednar gave media.
But let's put that aside. Let's put the whole media availability thing aside. I'm just talking about what we learned after the injuries happened. We learned, and by the way, Hackstall spoke in front of media yesterday, so he had an opportunity
media?
to do so.
Was anybody from Colorado asking him any questions?
Right.
Again, I believe though Corey from the Denver Post does in fact travel to every.
But he didn't travel this time.
There.
Okay.
No, it's a whole other thing.
Point is, we learned more about those other injuries much quicker than we did in terms of this Manson. We have no idea what happened, when it might have happened, where it might have happened, and we've gotten nothing since. And I agree with you, Evan. That's a little sketchy.
Yeah. And to build off of that, Manson has the history. We all know this, right? He has the injury history where he's got things that have kept him out consistently. Things that have happened kept him out for longer than usual, right? And we know Manson is a guy that can step it up in the playoffs. If there is something more going on that we don't know about, then that's pretty concerning. And that's a good comment there from Ryan. Blankenberg was pretty concerned about Manson, it seemed, from his interview. So that's something.
Well, did anybody ask Hackstall after the game what happened to Manson?
Well, because no one knows. I don't think.
I think everybody was more concerned about the head coach at that point.
Okay, well then nobody asked the question. We know this is the Avs. If you don't ask the question,
the media availability is a whole other thing. I don't want to touch on that right now.
I know,
but I'm
explaining why you haven't heard anything.
But
you haven't heard anything because the question hasn't been asked.
I still wanted to touch, though, on the effect without Josh Manson, because that's a big loss for the Avalanche if they go into the playoffs without him. I know that Cale Makar will probably be back, I imagine, for the playoffs. I imagine he's going to play through whatever he plays through. But Manson, I feel like, is a guy where that might not be possible with him, right?
So he turns it up during the playoffs.
Exactly, Brennan, you're right. So then if you're without Josh Manson, who's probably, whether you like it or not, your fourth best defenseman on the team. How will that affect these moves? Are you really going to have to run with Nick Blankenberg? I know he's been good the last few games, but stepping it up in the playoffs might be a whole other thing for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, the depth is tragic.
Yeah, I think I'm still worried if like you have to have a real really lean on him for a role. I think I'm still concerned about Blankenberg playing in more than like the 10 minutes. If he plays 10 minutes in the playoffs, I'll be very concerned. We'll just say that.
Blankenberg, in my opinion, has stepped it up the last couple games. The goal obvious against Vegas, but he's had his stick in the right place. He's been a lot more of his positioning has been a lot better, and he's also been more positioned around the slot and higher in the slot, in my opinion. So he's been able to read the place. I think he's just now starting to get comfortable around the Avalanche defense because, let's admit it, he got BS ice time the first 7 or 8 games when he was with the Avalanche because they were just like, hey, we need someone to fill a couple minutes. So now he's finally starting to get some real ice time. And when it comes to defense, chemistry is chemistry. You have to play with someone in order to form it. And he was skating a lot with Jack Hashan and all that fun stuff, but it took Blankenberg a few games to get that chemistry, and I think it showed up in Vegas quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, the Avs system is one that is taxing on defensemen, and it is different than other systems. So coming from Nashville, where he was expected to hang back, clear pucks out, hang back, clear pucks out, for the most part, and then pick his spots to be an offensive defenseman and make something happen on the rush. He was really excellent at that, and his numbers spoke to that. And then he came over here where he's expected to pinch on almost everything. He's expected to really put himself at risk for plays going the other way all the time, counting on the forwards to cover for him. But that instinct isn't going to be there when that's not the system you've played. And you could see him waffling all over the ice. He wasn't sure where to be. And in the last couple of games, I feel like that has really changed. To Brennan's point, he's been in the position we expect him to be more often. And he just seems to be playing with a bit more confidence. And that's good. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean he's going to be trusted. It doesn't mean I'm super confident in him. And it doesn't mean that he's going to be trusted to make up for the difference when Manson is out. If Manson is out, I should say. Because again, I go back to what I was talking about earlier with those special teams minutes. They had 2 guys they trusted to be on the PK once Brett Kulak was in the penalty box. And with Manson back, that number jumps to 3. With Makar back, that number jumps to 3. And so without Manson, you're still down to really 4 defensemen you trust to kill. So if one of them is in the box, you're down to 3. That's a tough spot to be in. Now, if it's up to me, I give Malinsky a little bit more play on the PK. I think he's been effective there in the past. You have to try Blankenberg. He hasn't really gotten the try, but you don't try guys out in the playoffs. And, I hate to do the thing that we did to Gerard forever, but we saw the Edmonton Oilers were intentionally going after Malinsky after every play. They were trying to test his mettle as a smaller guy. I think he stood up to it. I think he's fine. And I think Gerard was too, but I'm just saying, like, that is going to be a concern. Are people going to beat him up? Can he hold up to that? And Blankenberg has the same concerns. So not having Manson would be a big blow for a lot of reasons.
Wouldn't this be the time to actually give somebody minutes where you might be in a situation in the playoffs where you might be down 2 PKers, like you said, and then one goes in the box?
Yep.
You're really up a creek. Like, wouldn't this be the time to say, this is when we give Malinsky PK minutes?
100%.
Well, and then also I think we're seeing kind of a similar transition of what we saw with Soliev with Blankenberg. It took a few games for Soliev to get comfortable. Soliev came from more of a defensive role on the as defense and not an offensive defenseman. Now Blankenberg's doing the same thing where he was expected to play back and be more of a defensive defenseman. Now he's being expected to be an offensive defenseman with Colorado, and it completely boggles your mind, and your legs get tired so much more quickly. I'm a defenseman. I'm a defensive defenseman. There's no fucking way that I will ever be an offensive defenseman. You ask me to do that, I will do one rush and I will get off the ice.
But wasn't that the whole point why they got Blankenberg, is because he had some sort of random production?
Oh yeah, no, he's capable of it, and he did it in college. He is capable of playing that way. I'm just saying the transition when you've played a whole season with one instinct being built into the back of your brain, the transition is difficult. And I think Blankenberg is definitely a guy who can do this, but the transition is tough.
Yeah, it's I'm speaking from experience too. It's a hard transition to make that transition just like that when you're used to doing it and when you're told at the professional level.
Well, isn't this why rentals are stupid? Because you just don't have the runway to get anybody ready, to get anybody to be able to actually contribute in a positive way in the playoffs when you're going to need people. If you're going to go 4 rounds, you're going to have guys playing in positions maybe you don't want to, but this is who you got. So
yeah, I mean,
doesn't that go against the whole purpose of let's bring these guys in at the last minute and then they don't know what to do? Like, this isn't something that gets better in 2 weeks. Like,
it's also different for a guy like Nazem Kadri versus Nick Blankenberg.
Sure, of course,
that's a very
way different
spectrum. Yeah. So they're useful in some aspects for sure. I agree with that. And I think to kind of wrap up this conversation as a whole, because I like where Ado's going with Blankenberg has done, very well, I think, recently. I think he stepped up his game a lot. The big question, though, is can he step it up, another 3-4 levels when the playoffs come around? That's
I think the real, what we're pointing to is when you talk about the difference between Kadri and Blankenberg, especially, is there were guys who were brought in at the last minute as fail safes, and that's exactly what they are. That's how they're going to be treated, as a fail safe, not as a guy that and I get what you're saying, Jackie, is don't you want to maybe find out if the fail safe could work? But I think
at this point they'd be better off with Soliev.
No,
I would disagree with that. No. But I understand where you're coming from.
He's a real player in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, Blankenberg was a real player. I mean, nonetheless, I think the overarching thing that we can all agree on is the Avs need to stay healthy on the back end. Whereas Kadri was brought in to add depth, to really bolster a center group. Blankenberg is brought in to play 7D and pray to God he's never even has to tap in. I get your point, Jackie, is he will, but I think even when he does, the role will be super duper limited to the point of why does he even on there? We've seen it happen plenty of times, even in a regular season game, much less a playoff game with some of these guys on the lower parts of the roster. But Evan, you saw where I was going. I'm pulling this all up, which, folks, if you're watching live, I apologize. It's me doing work right in front of you, but I'm going to add this back to the stage because it's the Buffalo Sabres X account, because today they decided that they were going to go on a receipt rampage. And if you guys see first of all, their description is just wagon, period, which after missing the playoffs for 14 consecutive years, the gall you have to go on this receipt rampage and begin to drag the rest of the hockey world, where, as you see on the screen now, they have some memes here. It is the child breaking the chains off his hands, and it says, "Sabresmen." He says, "Yes, you are all wrong, doubters and non-believers," with Ryan Whitney over in the corner. Greatest part of the win streak, Sabres admin gets to let out as many years of being trolled onto another team. That has quickly found many of the followers of the Sabres to include, and not limited to, one Ryan Whitney, where they've taken out an entire billboard that quotes Mr. Ryan Whitney saying, "Buffalo's not making the playoffs." 0.000%.
You guys know that they have parked an actual covered wagon in front of the Keybank Arena, right?
Yes. Well, that's what I was curious, because that leads me to my question for you, Evan, which is, what is it like right now where you're at? in terms of the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I'm farther away from Buffalo. I live in the middle of nowhere. So I'm not like in the Buffalo like metro area. So I can't speak for what it's like up there because I'm sure it's crazy. But I mean, even here, there's a lot of Buffalo support and fandom, and I think I've said it before on this show where it's not quite Bills level because I mean the Buffalo Bills run this town, they run the entire region, really, I guess is what I should say. But it's pretty close. When you have a good hockey team and people get behind it, it's pretty special. It's pretty cool. I actually just talking with someone I work with today because she loves the Sabres. She has season tickets with her parents, and she was talking about how her season tickets and getting playoff tickets and whatnot. And I think they were like $80-something for her. But then now the resale's $500 for game one.
That's crazy.
Earlier this afternoon. So pretty wild.
Why the reason I wanted to talk about this was because I'm working on an article right now, kind of about like some really weird commonalities between this Avalanche team and Avalanche teams that have won the Stanley Cup in the past. And what sent me on this tizzy was when the Avalanche won the President's Trophy and Jared Bednar, the first quote out of his mouth was, "Well, we haven't done anything yet," right? And I'm on my way home from that game and I'm listening to fans from your neck of the woods, Evan, celebrating the first playoff berth in 14 years. And that dichotomy kind of screwed with me. And so I ask you guys, what's better? To be a team that's constantly and perennially involved in the contention conversation?
Yes.
Or let me finish. Do you guys remember how good it felt when the Avs came back from the worst season of all time and just made the playoffs in game 82 over St. Louis?
48-95.
What was better? Was that better, or was last year's elimination by Dallas better?
Well, if those are your two comparison points,
you can't pull that card out. No,
I just did.
No, it was really nice just telling my wife that you had to give Bednar a chance because she was calling for his head after year one. But
yeah,
well, you always want to be moving forward. So
sure,
next year, just making the playoffs isn't going to be good enough for Buffalo, or any other team.
Right.
So, I mean, for them, I think it's cool that they're allowed to have fun with it. First of all, they deserve it. It's been a long time. And the other thing is, like, they didn't just eke in. They won the Atlantic for the first time in their history.
Yeah.
So they're allowed to have a little bit of, pride about it. But teams that haven't been in the playoffs, they usually don't do well, right? Because it's their first rodeo and everything. And so,
He's got some veterans there, though.
I mean, but they haven't been
historically. I think you're right about that, Jackie. Yeah.
Just new teams. I know that they're not a bunch of kids, even though they do have a decent amount playing for them. But
they do have a bunch of kids.
But you just said the veterans. But it's just about collectively. You just haven't. It's tough. You haven't done it all together. It kind of takes progress. It's steps to win something. Now, would it be super cool if they won the East? They were in the Cup Finals. I'd even love it if they won the Cup. Yeah, of course, but it's just a matter of, you got to kind of progress your way through it, but we'll see. I will say, if we're talking about real receipts, I wrote in our season opening roundtable that they would make the playoffs, that Anaheim would make the playoffs, and that Washington would not. So I'm proud of that one. But I've been watching Buffalo since they got Byram, so I watched them when they were crappy. I watched how just the world just totally craps on them, just the media, the fans, and then they kind of do it to themselves, like the whole palm tree thing. It's like they made a mockery. Yeah. Like, yes, was it a dumb? I mean, he wasn't wrong, but I get it. Like, that's not what they wanted to hear at the time from Adams. But then this whole thing blew up, and you make a mockery of it, and you bring palm trees to the game. That's not helping the team. So when you make a circus, it was no coincidence they were in the middle of a 13-game losing streak at that time. So they deserve success and fun, and I'm going to have fun watching them in the playoffs.
I remember the third game of the season from this year when the Avs were in Buffalo. It was early October. The season was just getting started, and it was pretty empty. There was a jersey on the ice after the game.
Yeah.
There were I think it was Fire Kevin chants. I think is what it was. Kevin Adams.
And they did.
And they did. And now here they are. So pretty wild, pretty crazy out here. I got to go up to the Buffalo, actual city and try and find that billboard. That's hanging around up there. Maybe if the timing works out, and it sounds like, at least according to the person I was talking to, it sounds like the Sabres might start on Saturday, their playoff run. So if it works out where the Avs and Sabres aren't playing on the same day, maybe I'll go to Buffalo and try to go to a watch party or something. That'd be a lot of fun. So good vibes, good times up here. But to answer your question about if you'd prefer a perennial contender or being the Buffalo Sabres previous season, I've seen what that looks like for both sides now. I very much prefer the side that we're on right now.
Well, I mean, you prefer being a contender, but the bar's way higher. Like, even just
that's my point. We don't enjoy it.
Right?
We don't enjoy. Like, look at us. We're gonna watch the greatest regular season Avalanche team in the history of time, and we're gonna go not good enough if they don't make it to the Stanley Cup final, right?
Well, that's the expectation. That's what you're.
Yep.
I'd much rather contend for a Stanley Cup every year and fall short than be a bemiddling team.
It's just we need to remember we're freaking lucky. Like, you've seen that goals against and for graph that Sportsnet put out with the Avalanche as far into the top right corner as humanly possible, basically making the graph bigger by the day. Like, this Avalanche team, you have done something. You have done something. I'm not here for I get the expectation. I understand. I'm right there with you. I want a parade. But to just look at this team and go, nope, nothing's happened yet. My behind. You're going to be the greatest regular season Avalanche team in history. And I think that's what we should be celebrating. I don't think I think what the problem is that we're looking past that. I think the problem is that we're not appreciative of that. We're only appreciative of the expectation. I think we should be looking at this team and going, wow, now this is a team that we should support more than any other that's worn this jersey, because guess what? They've earned it more than any other team. It just so happens that's not how it is, right?
But that's the thing is that it doesn't matter. Like I get it. You should. I get what you're saying. Like, appreciate what you've done. It's historic and everything. It is a lot on the backs of what they did in November. They're like a middle of the pack team since the beginning of the calendar year. But yes, you got to appreciate what's in front of you. I get that. But the thing is, at the end of the day, nobody's going to care because it's all about what you do in the playoffs. Like, the Avs have historically been a very good to great to excellent regular season team. But does that get you anything? If you look back on this 10 years from now, that you only have one cup, but they were an amazing regular season team for 10 years. Does anybody care? I mean, honestly.
Well, then would you rather be the Sabres or the Avalanche?
Well, let's say the Sabres win the cup. Do you want to be the Sabres or the Avalanche?
Well, I just want to see Bo and Byram get kicked out of another parade.
That'd be awesome.
It'll be Zach Benson if it's this year.
If there's a parade in Buffalo,
sir, you're on the Colorado Avalanche.
If there's a parade in Buffalo, the entire region is going bananas. That's what I'll say.
Which, by the way, I don't want to hear. I don't want to see any New Jersey or New York fans jumping on that wagon. By the way, you guys are not allowed. You are not allowed on that wagon.
Yes.
Whatsoever. Greg Wyshynski, I'm talking to you, sir.
I will say, like, if you look at if we're talking about like, if you look back in 10 years, nobody's going to care if you didn't win a cup. There's truth to that, right? But like, I kind of would rather be the 2000s Sharks than the 2000s like I don't know what's a team that won one cup and then was disappointing. I can't think of one, but
St.
Washington.
Louis.
St. Louis, sure. Like
Well,
St. Louis
you know,
was no
Washington
one. They won a
still-
cup, and then they got to have a cup, but everybody's like, oh yeah, that St. Louis won that cup. But San Jose, you're like, oh my God, remember Thornton, remember Pavelski,
Exactly.
remember all these guys who I can't believe they never won one. Like that's you're cemented into hockey history by not winning on that team. Now I'm not saying that's what I want. Obviously, you asked earlier what feels better, finally making the playoffs or losing to the Stars. No, what feels best is that 2002 Cup run. That's what I remember. I don't remember losing to the Stars last year. I know it happened. I don't remember that feeling. I remember the Cup, and I won it again.
100%.
So, I mean, yeah. To answer your question, it's just not even a question. But
the way Evan asked it,
the Sharks and the Sabres.
Well, and
Yeah,
you know
the
what
way
I
Evan asked
remember
the
from
question,
the
I couldn't
Sharks'
keep it
last
together.
run was it was Joe Pavelski, no, not Joe Pavelski, Joe Thornton, skating through a torn ACL, a torn meniscus, and a torn PCL in the same knee.
Well, that's very much how I view the like Teemu Selanne, Paul Kariya era of the Avalanche, which kind of flies under their radar. It's like those dudes are, to me, obviously they have their stories on for other franchises, probably more predominantly in a lot of ways, but like still that was an era where when they got all that whole crew together, I was like, oh heck yeah, this is a great chance at doing it. And that doesn't, obviously they don't get talked about the same way as those other three teams for this specific reason, but I still have a Teemu Selanne autographed jersey in my basement and still went and bought that. So like I'm not saying it's wrong to have this expectation.
Also got further, right? Like they weren't second round flameouts, you know.
Yeah.
Like would you want to win the President's Cup every year, but you don't even make the Western Conference Finals? Like, is that satisfying? I mean, yes, you should celebrate what you've done. I do think it's something to celebrate that you were the best regular season team. You won the President's Cup again, trophy, whatever. Sorry, I always get confused because the Q is the President's Cup.
I did the same thing. Yeah.
But yes, it's an accomplishment. But nobody's going to remember you if you're not at the end, if you're not in the Cup Finals, if you're not doing anything with it. I think, you know, if they have a disappointment, knock on wood, I'm not going to say they are. If they have another disappointment, that then becomes their identity and their legacy, unfortunately, is that, sure, you were great in the regular season, but you meant nothing in the playoffs, you know, aside from obviously when they won it. But, you know, we're several years from that now. They've got to do something with that hype at this point.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's just like, I don't know. I can't help but feel like we're taking a little bit for granted right now as Avalanche fans. I really can't because especially like in this season, you lose one game to Vancouver and you start seeing fans talk about firing Bednar in the most successful regular season.
If they don't win the Cup, he is 100% the scapegoat. Like, there'll be a reason, even if they're in like the Cup Finals and losing game 6 or 7, then it'll be like, oh, they were there, they had the roster, they were winning, and it's his fault. Like, it will be his fault regardless of what happens.
Do you agree with that, Brendan, or is it Hackstall next again? Did they build that in already with Hackstall?
I think they built that in with Hackstall.
I mean,
I agree.
I think me and Evan were kind of discussing that at the beginning of the year. It's like, is this going to be the scapegoat?
I mean, I'm not saying they're going to do it. I'm just saying that's what the opinion's going to be, is that it's Bednar's fault that this team didn't win a cup, because the perception is, like you said, this is the greatest Avs team ever. They should win the cup or get extremely close to it. And if they don't, it has to be somebody's fault.
Right. Bednar broke his base for this team.
To it's too hard to just be like, oh yeah, hockey is like random and difficult. Like, that's just too hard. It has to be someone's fault.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Hey, I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying
I'm not saying that about
Slap
you.
that
Jackie.
on a shirt and we're selling it.
That is the, like, ultimately, like, not winning doesn't mean you didn't have a good year. It means you didn't end up winning. But
you just titled the episode "Hockey is too random and difficult." That's
the new Mile High Hockey Labs theme.
That was great.
I'm crying, man. That's so good.
We're marketing that, dude.
Oh man, yeah, that's so true. Because it's like the coping mechanism is immediately to find someone or something to blame, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's what you take. You watch your team lose to the Vancouver Canucks for no reason, and you're like, oh God, now I just need to go watch somebody's head roll on the internet so I feel better. And then in 2 weeks, when they win the President's Trophy, I'll retweet that image and treat them like my favorite thing ever, right? And that's, we've all done it, guys. I'm calling myself out when I tell this story, so it's okay.
Yeah.
We get it. But I've taken you guys already to an hour.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Ezra. I've taken you guys already to an hour. Let's do our bold predictions real quick so we can get the heck out of here. I'm gonna go back to the ones that Ezra you sent me on my day off, so that I can make sure that I get everybody's the right way. You said, Ezra, no goals for Parker Kelly, but 2 goals for, this was a while back, 2 goals for LOC.
It didn't happen. I was right about Kelly not scoring.
Yeah, that one wasn't as bold, but I mean, maybe
that
one wasn't as bold. He has 20, so I guess it's kind of bold. Brandon, you had a Nick Waugh goal. That didn't happen, although he did have an assist last night, which was pretty nice.
Half a buzzer.
I had 6 goals in the Avs and I believe Flames game that was about to start later on that night, but that didn't happen. And Jackie, you had an Avs hat trick, which I looked today at some of the stats as they compared to other champions. This year's Avalanche team has very few hat tricks compared to the teams of the past. Very few, which is what you were picking up on, I assume, Jackie. You were wanting that kind of trend to buck up a little bit, yeah?
I felt like they were due, but I think the window's passed now.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's get our bold predictions going right now.
You're missing one.
Oh, what am I missing? Yours?
It doesn't matter anyway. Give me my buzzer because I'm wrong. It was 4 goals in each game.
Good for you for volunteering for a buzz. That
listen. You got to give me another buzz too. Oh
yeah, because the Pittsburgh Penguins are a playoff team. Look at you just volunteering for punishment.
I'm taking the L.
I love it.
I'm losing this challenge. I'm getting the box of Biko Written and Dallas Stars.
Buffalo's never going to give you back. So I hope you like living out there, because now that you live there and they've made the playoffs again, I don't think they'll let you come back.
All I'm saying is I have a bold prediction about that.
Oh, okay. Well, let's roll that sponsor, and we'll get into that right now.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I call that bold talk.
Okay, well, what is the time frame, first off, so I can think?
Let's go. Let's see, because the last game is on Thursday.
Yes.
I mean, we're gonna have a show Friday. Preview.
Yeah, let's just include tonight's game and Kraken.
Okay. Cool. Okay, roll the sponsor.
All right, so we just did that, but this is Bold Predictions brought to you by Brews Ale House Brewing Company, a beautiful eatery located in the heart of downtown Pueblo, Colorado, along the Arkansas Riverwalk. They also are a brew pub with all in-house beer. They have a bakery, a full, I guess the word I'm always looking for is like espresso maker, like full service coffee shop style coffee in there as well. It's just your one-stop shop, also some entertainment and concerts. So please head on over to Brews Ale House if you are in Southern Colorado, a wonderful establishment that does sponsor this Bold Predictions segment. Jackie, you are cruising and bruising the rest of us and leading the way with 12 points. So you're going to go first.
All right. I hate to do it, but I got to commit to the meme. They're going to lose to Calgary. It's due, right?
That's one of your season longs. Do you want to, you put that one in a couple weeks ago. Do you want to do a different one or just ride with that?
So you're saying it's kind of already on the board already.
You already have that one on the docket.
That makes sense. Let's see. I'll do one for the Kraken game because absolutely nobody's going to care about that game. Shouldn't even be played, really. Let's see. I will say Josh Manson will play.
It shouldn't even be played, but Josh.
How long did we talk about that one, Evan?
If that happens, then cool. At least I'll take that.
Is it bold enough?
Jackie,
All right, Josh.
it's bold enough.
Play against the Kraken.
Jackie, you also have LA Kings as your prediction matchup, so you still have that on the board as well. Evan, I forgot to buzzer you. Actually, no, because it can't be the Kraken because they're not a playoff team, correct? So
yeah, right. It was also kind of gifted to me.
I know. Yeah, I wouldn't give him the buzzer. It wasn't his pick.
No, Brandon, you had San Jose. You also get a buzz. Ezra, you also get a verbal buzz, and I had Predators verbal buzz. So yeah, those are those. But I like it, Jackie. I dig Josh Manson with the surprise playing against the Seattle Kraken in the regular season finale. Evan, your rebuttal to that?
I'll give a new season long one. Since my Penguins one is off the board, and I'm still angry that you guys said that wasn't bold enough. And what? So, anyway, I like the Buffalo Sabres team. I like their potential matchups that they have. I think they make it to the second round. I really
should we save these for our next show when we talk about all the playoffs?
Well, that's my season long. That's my new season long. So
I'll allow it. Yeah. I'll allow it, but I do want you to make one. Yeah, that
I'm gonna make it. Don't worry, I'm making an Avs one. I'm making an Avs one for the next 2 games. I just wanted to get that season long one while it was out there because I do like their odds over one of Boston or Ottawa. So, as for an Avs one, I will say, gosh, what will I say? Ross Colton 2 goals. Because he hasn't really had anything going for him in the last little while.
I'm surprised. I think I'm about to lose the one that I'm gonna want to do to Brandon, but Brandon, I'm surprised we haven't heard what I'm thinking of yet. What is yours?
So I think Bedsy's gonna sit out Seattle because the man has a broken face, and
poor guy.
And Hextall's going to be running the bench on purpose, not Pratt, as a revenge game.
How are we going to determine that?
Well,
we'll ask.
I'll just say the Avs win, but
okay, and Avs win. I'm going to put there. We can ask. We can tell. We'll be able to know.
Bednar doesn't play. We think that Hextall is in charge. Doesn't coach. We think Hextall is running the bench just by vibes, and the Avs win.
Avs win just by vibes. Yes, we'll vibe it out. Ezra, what is your vibed out prediction?
I think that after tonight's games, the Rocket Richard race will be tied between McKinnon and what's his face, Caulfield. So then McKinnon has to play and score in Seattle.
Well, that's what leaves me to mine because I'm so shocked that maybe you guys are being nice to me and letting me do this one.
I think I know what you're gonna pick, by the way.
Points, but he's also going to get the 40 goals tonight, not in the next 2 games. It's happening. All of it's happening this evening. That's my bold prediction.
And he needs 2, right?
He needs 2 goals and 1 point. Yeah. So he gets 2 goals. Nice. He gets the 1 point.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
All right. Well,
to be clear, mine was not all of the things. It was just McKinnon scores and wins the Richard. Or scores in Seattle and wins the Richard.
No, it's all the things.
All the things I said. Okay, I meant them to be like, here's why. But
is it all the small things?
It has to be like a tie and then not a tie. I think Ezra can get it.
Because I was like, this is my logic.
Yeah.
I think Ezra can get it if McKinnon scores against Seattle and wins the Richard. I think that's good enough.
Thank you.
We'll go off vibes to see if they're tied. Truly, we'll see how we feel about that tie.
Yeah.
We'll go. Yeah.
The tie can be
all right. Well, exactly. Well, that will do it, I guess, for this episode, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. There's about 600 of you tuned in live right now. Please head on over to the website, milehighhockey.com. Also head on over to Hockey Mountain High, where you can find the written work of Evan Liu and Brendan Vogt. Please give us a follow and subscribe on your preferred social media platform and on YouTube, where you can watch all of these videos live We're also live on X via my account if you want to give that a follow. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about coming up on the Friday episode, as by then we will know who the Avalanche will be playing in round 1. We've got some fun stuff planned for you folks in round 1, to include potentially getting some visitors on the program from the opposite side of the bench, if you know what I mean, to get some insight from the competition in round 1. So be on the lookout for that. And folks, as usual, share this programming with your hockey and fellow Avalanche fans. On behalf of myself and my esteemed colleagues, Ezra Parter, Jackie K, Evan Liu, and Brendan Vogt, my name is Adrian Hernandez. Until next time, Avalanche fans, stay happy and go Avs. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning into the Mile High Hockey Lab.